Oh, hello! How's everyone doing? Well, since you're here, I think I'll talk to you about my favorite subject. And I guess I'll start by saying I once read an article, okay, by a fella goes by the name A.O. Scott, and he said in the article, the headline was, "Cinephilia is dead." And I thought, oh my goodness. Then I thought, thank God. I'm glad cinephilia is dead. I'm sick of cinephilia. In fact, I think it's important for something to die so that we can resurrect it and have more fun with it. Kind of like Weekend at Bernie's. I don't think he ever came back alive. Well, anyway, the point is, I think with the ascendancy of TV and the total dearth of good movies that come out to a theater near you,
coming soon to a theater near you,
that it's an exciting time to talk about old movies. And not only that, because movies are now treated as museum pieces, they're treated as cadavers that have to be dissected as if for an autopsy. This is really good for us because that means really we can make our own rules, break the rules for what we think is good, what we think isn't good. In fact, it reminds me, Andrew Sarris, he wrote in his really great book called Directors and Directions something 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 in 1968. And he said in the introduction, he said, "Not all old movies are the same. In fact, there are many of them that are just as bad as movies that come out today. They're bad in different ways, they're good in different ways, they're good in similar ways, rarely. They're bad in similar ways, often. And there's always timidity when going to watch, like a real old movie or something that's considered a classic. And the timidity or the intimidation is that, what if I don't like it? What if I don't get it? What if... Well, the thing is, when people went to see what we consider the classics, they didn't know before they went to see it in the theaters that it was classic. They just went, I'm going to take my kids, get out of the house, I'm going to take Barbara, and we're going to go to the movies, and we're going to have some popcorn, and we're going to, for a nickel, we're going to see 15 movies that are double bills, What if I don't like it? What if I don't get it? What if... Well, I rather agree with that statement, and I also agree with Paul Schrader, guy who wrote Taxi Driver and also directed a number of good films. He also said, I don't know where he said it, and actually it could just be hearsay, but he said that he believes, it is his theory, that film is necessarily a 20th century art form, that really it has no future past the year 1999, although that's my end date if we're just being literal about his theory and the 20th century. And when I think about that, and I agree with it, I think, 100 years is a pretty good run to invent an art form, have a golden age, have a silver age, bronze age, iron, whatever, descend into nothingness, and then die. That's pretty good for 100 years. And for me, it does not diminish how much I respect movies and revere movies and how much I love them, just because most of the people who made the best ones, or most of the people who made most of them, are all dead. Just like it doesn't diminish the fact for me that I enjoy reading, even though most of the authors of the books I like are all dead, or music, who are... Everything is death. It's all dead. Anyway, point being, like I said, and I promise we'll get to it, is that I think it will be really fun, and it is a lot of fun for me, that now that movies have been pronounced DOA 100 years later, we get to explore old movies that we like, movies we don't like, movies that people have said for 100 years is the greatest thing since D.W. Griffith, and we can say, it's shit, isn't it? Or we can say this forgotten movie that nobody paid any attention to is in fact the real Citizen Kane. If the real Citizen Kane could please stand up, we will help him, even if he needs crutches. And I think that will be really exciting, and we can find out why you should like someone, why you shouldn't like someone, and if you're just interested in learning about someone, what are the best movies of that someone to start with or to get into, or what movies would be a brief summary of everything that's great about them, because, you know, some directors, there really isn't one movie you can point to and say, this is a great movie. It's really their movies in totality that suggest their greatness, like, oh, I don't know, like Michael Haneke or Robert Altman, although I do love Robert Altman. I think all his movies together as one picture, they really summarize how great he is. But so that is what movies Dead and Loving It is all about, is that they're dead, and thank God, because when you die you go to heaven and have a great time, and that's what we're going to do. And hopefully, otherwise I'll just be taking a shit talking about movies. So, hope you enjoy. And I gotta flush again here, because...
With that, we certainly want to thank you for the wonderful way you've inspired us. Remind you that you're very beautiful, very sweet, very gracious, very generous, and we do love you madly.